Time signature. Time signature. The fundamental building block of music. If you've listened to a song, you've heard a time signature. And you might not think that you have. Which you would be wrong, which isn't far off for most of you. But that was a joke. That was a joke, guys. I thought you guys are all smart. But when you listen to it and you sort of take in what time signature it is, a lot of the time when you listen to a song, you'll realize it's 4/4. It's in a 4-beat pattern where there's 4 beats in a measure, and each quarter note gets the beat, which is also called common time because it's usually the most common time that you'll see. But why is that? Why do we see 4/4 more than everything? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about. Okay, so first off, the reason that we always lean toward 4/4 is because it lines up with speech, it lines up with movement, bipedal locomotion, and even in most cases, your heartbeat, which is kind of weird because technically it's on a 3/4 pattern, where it's only 3 beats in a bar, but because of how the heartbeat works, it lines up better with 4/4 despite it being in a 3/4 pattern, which is kind of cool. But you look into this, it's like, cool, it lines up with our speech and movement, but why is it so, why is it so adopted? Like, where did it start getting adopted? Well, the adoption of 4/4 really started because it was easy to understand, it was easy to follow, and it sort of got pushed into Western music, which is like the American, and like Americas, even some of the UK, is technically considered Western music. So when you listen to it, and you listen to the biggest genre of music, technically Western music, you sort of be like, okay, well, if they're using 4/4, I should be using 4/4. And so it's just sort of spread like that, where it sort of got based off of, because we were using it, they were going to use it in that sense. We see, but to continue with that, you see most popular songs nowadays use to 4/4 because, again, a popular song, a popular pop song is supposed to be catchy. You see them repeat words, you see them do this, that, because it's supposed to be catchy, it's supposed to be easy to follow, and 4/4 just sort of falls into that, and that's why you see it the most often, is because it's easy to follow, it's easy to catch on to. But sometimes when you're listening to a song, you'll see 12/8, which is, for all the nerds out there, for all my little music nerds, is basically, they'll tell you it's just a 4/4 pattern with a triplet. So instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, or for 12/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sort of that type of pattern where it's still in 4/4, but there's an extra beat to where you can do a little bit more with it. And you see that a lot in shuffle music. I don't know the exact percent of how much you see it. I think it was like 4% in the top 50 for the last 2 decades. There's going to be a video in the description that I watched, and I'll have a lot more actual data to certain points. And that was a good video. I highly recommend it. It helps a lot in the understanding what time signatures are honestly used today. When you look into 12/8, you sort of have to understand why 12/8 isn't just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's because of this funky little thing called an agogic accent. So an agogic accent is basically when you have an accent on a piece of music, that one note is going to be enunciated more than the ones before or after it. So if you have an accent on beat 2 in a 4/4 measure, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that 2 pops out more, and it's supposed to be popped out. Like in jazz music, you see it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So a little tip, if you're ever at a jazz bar, or if you're ever seeing music live that's in a more jazzy swing feel, always clap on 2 and 4, you'll make them very happy. But the reason agogic accents are important in this is that's a sort of a mental accent that you're giving to the music. So like in 12/8, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4/4 is usually for most Western classical music 1, 3, 1, 3. Sort of that type of thing where it enunciates 2 of the beats for 4/4 or 4 of the beats for 12/8 to sort of help follow where the music is going and give it that full out. Other types of music where you'll see it and it sort of differentiates some of the music that has similar time meters, like of the time meters that you'll see sort of interchange a lot in music is 6/8 and 3/4. Despite them having the same amount of eighth note counts, the reason they're a little bit different is just because of where the agogic accent lies. So if you have a 3/4 measure, you're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, sort of in that ball feel that's like step, slide, slide. Like it gives that music to where you can follow for your dance. But in 6/8, you see that in more on like sea shanties, which is like most commonly recently the Weller Man. Like you go 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Like you sort of hear that on the 1 and 4, which gives it a little bit more of a wavy flow to it, which is why you see that in sea shanties. And just again like that's we use those to feel that different feel in music. But that's why when you see like 12/8 to 4/4, there has to be that agogic accent, because that's what gives you that shuffle feel instead of that very polarizing, very 1 2 3 4 type feel to it. The other thing is obviously 4/4 is common, so like what else does that mean for? So because of that, it's been adopted as the universal language for music, which is like basically the English of music in this for time signatures. And because of that, it just keeps gaining popularity and keeps doing it. Because like when you see music, you don't see it really change much into that, to where because they know it's going to succeed if it's 4/4, they don't know if it's going to succeed in these other ones because everyone can follow 4/4. 4/4 was probably also the most pivotal musical adoption in classic music, because it switched from this tuplet type triplet meters, which is like 6/8 3/4 3/2 stuff like that. That is tuplet. That is where it's like it has 3 beats and type of it, or a duplicate of 3 beats. So you see it most commonly 3/4 3/8 3/2 stuff like that. But it switched it more to more duple meters, which is your 4/4, your 12/8, your 6/4, stuff like that, where it's more 1 2 3. It's more like you can group it into 2 instead of you having to group it into 3. Other meters are still very commonly used. Like it's not like, I don't want you leaving this video thinking, oh, 12/8's never used. Like these are used, they're just used not in the music you hear. A lot of classical pieces will have it. I played a piece in band last year that had 11/8. I've played pieces in band that have had 7/8, 7/4 God. But you see those not in the music that you typically hear. But if it really does pique your curiosity, I do recommend going and finding a piece that has like 7/4, 11/8, and sort of trying to follow it and see why it's different than following 4/4. A good example is Ride by Samuel Hazo, that has 7/4 in it, and you can see why it has 7/4, and it switches a bunch, and you'll see why. So, but the most common meters that you'll see outside is definitely still 3/4 6/8, which you'll see sometimes in normal music, but because of their ability to be either a she shanty or a ball, you'll see them a lot in like more classical music. It's just because they're just not popular in pop music, just because of their different feel to the flow. But that's okay. And that's fine. That's why you see it in balls, because it's like when you do a dance, it's one out. I don't know like what any dance there is to put as an example here, but like a lot of, from what I've been told, from what I understand, a lot of dances are sort of 1 2 3. So it's like one big move and then 2 more small moves, and that's just the way 3/4 falls in balls. So it works out. So a lot of this is really just why 4/4 is more used, because like, in our mind, it feels easier to follow something that just sort of goes with our natural movement and sort of goes with how we react as people. Because it's easier to be like, okay, I walk 4 steps at a time, just sort of in that feel. Why not listen to a music that feels that same way, feels as if I'm walking to it? And that's why sort of you get that feel to it. But you don't walk in 6/8 or in 3/4 or in 12/8. Just because they're more difficult. Taking away big key points from this video is 12/8 will always be seen just not as common, but more common than a lot of other ones, because it follows that same formula of 4/4, but by adding another accent to it and continuing a different, semi-different feel, you'll see it classified as a shuffle a lot. Other key points. If you ever go to a jazz bar or listen to music that is in jazz, clap on 2 and 4, because we will all thank you. Just from the bottom of our hearts, thank you if you clap on 2 and 4. It feels better. It is better. But yeah, that's really all. I'm going to try to upload like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I just wanted to come in, keep a little quick video on why we follow 4/4, because it's a weird topic to me. So it's a weirder thing that this is technically the goat of time signatures of musical language is 4/4, and why we all follow that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. I should have another video hopefully Wednesday. I'm gonna try to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. But thank you guys for coming out. Like if you liked the video, dislike if you didn't. I don't really count numbers. I just do this for fun. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.